The Gucci brand label is a huge status symbol today and is growing in popularity with each passing year. But what if I told you that this multi-billion-dollar brand was once on the verge of going bankrupt and would have died out if not for a certain investor? But before we get started, welcome to Tales of Titans, the place where business and history come to life. Let's look at the history of Gucci and how this brand became the fashion tycoon that it is today. Gucci is a brand that found its origins in Florence, Italy. It was when a man named Guccio Gucci was born on March 26, 1881, into a family of merchants who made their lives by selling fashion articles, like straw hats. It was an honest life, and like every other mercantile parent, they expected their son to succeed them and take over the family industry. However, fate had other things planned for Guccio because when he came of age, the business went bankrupt, and due to financial difficulties, the family broke apart. In 1897, Guccio left Florence and made for London, where he looked for a place to begin working. Luckily, the Savoy Hotel was where he found work, and he primarily was a bellhop, an elevator boy, and washed dishes. This place was where Guccio found his first ever pieces of inspiration. The high-class people who visited and stayed at that hotel always wore things of luxury and craftsmanship, which were intriguing to the young man. Working there, Guccio made enough money to travel back to Florence and took up a job working in an antique store. He also settled down and married a dressmaker named Aida Cavelli and had a total of 6 children, 5 sons and 1 daughter. Hugo was adopted from Aida's previous relationship. Things were working out quite well for Guccio until 1914, when the First World War broke out and he was made to serve in the army like many of the Italians. He mainly served as a transport driver and helped troops and artillery reach their designated spots. When the war ended, he came back to Florence, only to find that the economy had crumbled due to the aftermath of the war. Looking for a way to earn money, Guccio found himself working under Franzi, the maker of fine luggage. Under Franzi, he acquired many skills in working with fashion materials like leather and their handling. He was quite a fast learner, and because of that, Franzi deputized him as the manager of a branch in Rome. After traveling back and forth for a few years, Guccio decided to open his own shop in 1921 called Azienda Individuale Guccio Gucci. He didn't start by making his own products, rather, he sold luggage that he received from his international suppliers, mainly based in Germany, England, and some from Tuscany. Besides selling hand-picked pieces from these places, Guccio even started making fresh pieces by hand for customers who requested them. His journey up until that point had awarded him with enough knowledge and market insight to know what the people of that time liked to don, and with that information, he was able to create trendy luggage pieces and attracted more and more attention from hopeful buyers in the city who were mostly wealthy high-class nobles and tourists from abroad. Even with this inflow of customers, Guccio was struggling because his suppliers demanded payments that he occasionally fell short of, and some clients even swindled him by making him work and not paying what they owed him. Eventually, Guccio got fed up with reselling pre-made products and decided to handcraft all his pieces. His works quickly became popular in Italy, and owning them became a symbol of wealth. With his newfound popularity, Guccio found himself swamped with work, so he had to hire a team of 60 artisans and even bought a bigger workshop. Business was finally starting to see a steep climb in sales. Sadly for Guccio, the times that he lived in were full of wars and casualties. In 1935, the invasion of Ethiopia by Mussolini led the League of Nations to impose a trade embargo on Italy. Leather became scarce, pushing Guccio to introduce other fabrics in the composition of the products, such as raffia, wicker, wood, linen, and jute. With these products, Guccio managed to produce signature articles of fashion like the iconic rhombi motif. They not only used the new types of materials, but they even invented a new kind which they called cuoio grasso, a special type of veal calf leather. Soon after, in 1937, the globally recognized and coveted Gucci handbags were released. His work was now not only limited to handbags and items of luggage, but he was now making other leather products like gloves, belts, wallets, keychains, and shoes. His son, Aldo, hinted to Guccio that expansion into Rome would be a good idea. When Guccio finally agreed to the suggestion, another shop was opened there. When the Second World War started, this shop was frequented by a lot of soldiers who wanted to buy Gucci articles to send them back to their loved ones. It showed that this time around, Guccio was making a profit to save his industry even during the difficult times that the world was enduring. It was also during the war that the signature Gucci crest was applied to every piece of work that came out of Guccio's shop. When the war ended, however, there were a lot of knots that needed to be tied up. So, the World War had left Guccio scrambling for cash to keep both of his stores open. Luckily for him, his team of artisans kept pumping out new article pieces every day, and they eventually managed to turn up a sum that would keep the two stores running. Guccio divided the shares of the company among his three sons, Aldo, Vasco, and Rodolfo. The bamboo bag was released, and it quickly became an item of luxury, sought after by the elites. Along with the bag, the iconic moccasins also graced the market, and these became one of the most recognizable pieces of clothing from the Gucci brand. Here's when Gucci finally decided to roll its carpets out into the world. While Guccio was managing his shop in Florence and in Rome, his three sons decided to take flight and seek greener pastures in New York. After receiving a couple $1,000s as a loan from different banks, the brothers opened the very first New York Gucci shop on Fifth Avenue in November 1953. Sadly, just after New Year's the same year, Gucci passed away due to a heart attack while taking time off with his wife. 7 years later, another Gucci store was opened inside the St. Regis Hotel in 1960. A decade later, a third New York store was opened in 1973 on Fifth Avenue. These three stores of the fashion legend were so popular that New Yorkers started calling this small area of the city Gucci City. Back in 1961, the US wasn't the only place where Gucci stores opened. In London and Palm Beach, another Gucci store opened, and the Gucci signature Jackie bag was released. More shops opened gradually in cities like Paris, later in Asia, and in the Middle East. This expansion led to the brand being endorsed by multiple famous people, one of whom was Grace Kelly. The Floria scarf was designed in 1966 by Rodolfo and Vittorio Aconero for her. In Brussels, Aldo's son Roberto piloted the first ever Gucci franchise store. By 1969, Gucci was managing 10 shops in the United States. 84,000 Gucci moccasins were sold in the US alone that year. US President John F. Kennedy called Aldo Gucci the first Italian ambassador to the United States. By 1969, Giorgio, Aldo's son, ignited the first family feud by launching Gucci Boutique independently, which was absorbed back into the family in 1972. Family conflicts plagued Gucci, with Paolo Gucci attempting to launch Gucci Plus. Aldo's focus on Gucci America drew criticism for neglecting international growth. To ease tensions, the Gucci Group became Gucci S.p.A., a publicly traded company, in 1982. Maurizio Gucci inherited most of the company's control in 1983 and battled Aldo for completion, resulting in Aldo's imprisonment for tax evasion in 1986. Maurizio sold 47.8% to Investcorp in 1988, retaining the rest. Despite disputes, Gucci's trademark sales soared to $400 million by 1987 and $227 million in 1990. The 1980s saw mass production, damaging Gucci's luxury status, but Don Mello was hired to revive the brand. From 1991 to 1993, finances remained in red, partly due to Maurizio's lavish spending. Investcorp acquired the remaining shares in 1993, ending family involvement. In 1995, Maurizio was fatally shot, leading to his ex-wife imprisonment for arranging the hit. Later, in 1994, Investcorp's creative director, Tom Ford, was put in charge of overseeing the Gucci brand. Under him, Gucci launched a new line of products that had provocative cutouts and themes of sexuality. Even the other line of products from Gucci started gaining popularity, like designer outfits and an all-new category of perfumes. These proved to be quite popular, and soon after, Gucci's economy became one of the world's fastest-growing industries, reaching over $17 billion in 2023. And there you have it. That's how Gucci was saved from a crumbling wipeout due to family feuds. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more amazing content. I'll see you in the next one.